Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to have you with us today. And I have with me Ben Steezy, the Hip Hop Herbalist, and we're going to talk about adaptogens. If you're not familiar with them, you will know by the time this show is over. And we talked to Ben before when we were dealing with the um, Lajit. I always wonder if I'm going to say it right. But anyway, welcome, Ben. I'm so happy to have you here. And we were going to talk about another adaptogen that you carry. That's Shasandra, correct?
Yeah, I got some Shazandra with me. Thanks for having me again, Gail. And hello out there in the universe that's watching right now. Glad that you guys enjoyed our last broadcast, and I'm really happy to be back. And yeah, I'd love to share about some adaptogens that we work with and just my journey with adaptogens, answer any questions that we see in the chat.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll be looking for chat questions if any come up. But one of the things I think maybe there are some people out there who don't know exactly what an adaptogen is, and maybe we should explain that because let's face it, people are under a lot of stress right now. A
Absolutely.
lot of
So,
stress.
you know, I think Gail mentioned stress because by definition, an adaptogen is a non-harmful substance, usually from plants, that helps to relieve stress in the body and bring us back into homeostasis. So it helps to balance the systems of the body to make us more resilient towards stress. And, in a lot of instances, you can monitor adaptogens lowering cortisol levels and boosting the healthy hormones while they kind of take away those stress related hormones, which is one of the reasons that we love to use them.
Okay. Well, that is really important because um, the the stress that everyone's under, it needs to be modulated. And what happens is people's cortisol levels go up. And when your cortisol levels are up, you are stressed. And you can't lose weight either. I don't know if people know that or not, but when your cortisol levels are up, if you have a weight issue or whatever, you're not going to be able to get the weight off. And so, not only is it important to detox with the Shilajit, actually helps a lot, and then you can also use the Shasandra, which is a adaptogen, which helps to again lower the stress. But why don't you talk about? Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah,
Since you're
absolutely.
the
So
herbalist.
the different adaptogens that I've been using for the last decade or so are things like Shilajit, cordyceps, ginseng, lots of different tonic herbs from Chinese medicine, as well as Ayurvedic medicine would fall into this category of adaptogens.
Yeah, I
Now,
love ginseng. I've had used that for a long time. That's one of my favorite
it's probably
go-tos.
the most popular too.
Yeah,
The one
yeah.
that most people have heard of or are familiar with. Shilajit, Shazandra, some of these other tonic herbs and tonic substances that I work with, people aren't as familiar with. So it's always fun to explore those with people because ginseng's great. But when you look at something like Shazandra berry, for instance, this is a berry that has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for centuries as a beauty tonic, as a fertility tonic, as a way to balance out the different organ systems of the body. And it does that through detoxifying the liver, through nourishing the adrenals and the kidneys, and helping you to actually build the right types of fluid in the body. So it helps with, it's a chi tonic, so it helps with the blood. It's a great tool to help with healthy water retention. So if you sweat a lot, it'll help you to retain and use and assimilate water better, or vice versa. If you hold unhealthy water weight, it'll help you to process that better. So it's one of the natures of adaptogens, is that they'll kind of go to work where your body needs them. They're very double directional. They work systemically to help balance you out and bring you to the place that you need to be.
And there's not an issue about dosage, or there's not an issue about, toxic levels that I've ever read any. Have you?
Yeah,
Of any?
well, there's, I'm
A
one
few?
that believes that there is such thing as too much of a good thing. You know, you don't want to overdo
Well,
it.
yeah.
But one of the classifications of an adaptogen is that it's a non-harmful substance. So if it's from a good, reliable source, it'd be very difficult to overdo it. It'd be very difficult to achieve any type of adverse or negative effect. You know, in fact, these are nutritionally dense foods that I feel comfortable giving to my 2-year-old. I mean, and she's one of the healthiest toddlers that I've ever seen. So,
And I bet she doesn't get any of these either.
Well,
we won't
yeah,
go there.
that's another show on a different
yeah.
channel. But,
okay.
you know, yeah.
Well, I was looking a little bit on the about some of the benefits of the adaptogens, and they increase the quality of life. They can increase longevity, improve immunity. That's important right now too. Boosting your immunity in whatever way you can, because if we're not being exposed to toxins and things like that, then we're might be exposed to different types of pathogens as well. So it also increases your mental performance and decreases depression and anxiety as well. So these are important benefits that people can get from herbal medicine rather than most prescription medicine.
Yeah, you know, and I like to explain it like this. You know, I really value my health and my vitality. I think it's important for me to value that if I want to serve my family and serve the world in an impactful way. So, since I value my health and my vitality, I utilize the tools I have access to. That looks like breath work. That looks like yoga. That looks like getting up in the morning and stretching and doing some burpees or some push-ups and getting my blood flowing so that I can really win the day and take on whatever gets in my way. Over the last decade that I've been working with herbs, and specifically with this group of herbs that we call adaptogens, I have noticed that for me, taking shilajit, taking schizandra berry, eating really high quality cacao, it's another tool just like meditation, burpees, breath work, cold plunging, you know, all these things that I love to utilize and I find a lot of benefit from. This has become another part of that dynamic way I can protect myself and relieve stress in my own body so that I can better serve my family, better serve my society, and better serve the world.
That's awesome, and that's absolutely true. Your health is really your real wealth, because if you could have all the money in the world, and if you are really sick, how do you benefit? You know, really.
Exactly.
So I would call this a top tier herbal choice, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you know, both the
Shazandra.
shilajit and the schizandra berry for sure, but that's because they both work systemically in the body and they target all the major organ systems, all the meridians in Chinese medicine. All of the different elements are nurtured through taking these specific adaptogens. You're really getting a full body nutrient boost and a full body detox because it helps with all the natural detoxification processes. You know,
Do you think there's any need for any caution for detoxing too quickly?
with the shilajit, we've seen in a very small percent of the population, the amount of fulvic acid that's in shilajit can cause kind of like a detox, like flushing symptoms. If anybody has ever taken, you know, too much B3 or niacin, then you know it's a similar type of reaction
Not
like
B12,
that, where
B3.
you
You're
might
right,
feel,
niacin flush.
yeah, like a niacin flush almost. But that's something that very few people. Oops, lost it for a second.
Whoops.
Very few people experience the detox symptoms with shilajit. With the schizandra berry, it's a very mild process. It actually helps to jumpstart phase 1 and phase 2.
Okay, I can't hear you now, Ben. We lost your sound.
Am I back with you?
Yes, now you are.
Yeah.
Good. Phew. A
So
little.
as I was saying, the Shizandra helps to jumpstart phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. So it's very gentle on the body. It's helping us to actually start our own natural detoxification processes. And through that, it's helping to carry things like heavy metals, things like, pathogens, anything that we wouldn't want in the tissues of our body are being successfully carried out and detoxed through the body. These adaptogens just kind of help to jumpstart that process and make it a little bit more efficient and effective.
I think that's really important. I mean, that's two of the most very important keys to better health. Considering the environment that we are living in, we're exposed to a lot of toxins, and from every angle you can think of, from the water we drink to the air we breathe to the food we eat. So detox is important. And then when you consider the things that are going on in the world and the different stressors that are being put on people, anxiety levels and stress levels are really high. And so I highly encourage people to look into the potential benefits of products of this nature, because they really do work and they're really natural. And I've told people this before, but I it bears a reminder, and that is, when you get a prescription drug, they have taken the active ingredient, mostly from plants, and they tweak it so they can patent it, because you can't patent something natural. And when they do that, it's altered in such a way that it makes it more difficult for the body to manage it. And that is why there are so many different side effects. And that is also why I highly recommend using nutrition and herbs as a way to maintain your health.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting to me how a lot of this stuff gets labeled as alternative medicine, because when you look at the history of Shizandra, the history of Shilajit,
Yes.
it's been used for thousands of years, longer than any of our traditional medical systems here in the Western side of the world have existed. So it's really interesting to me when we look at the labels that get put onto these things to kind of scare people away from them almost. It's like,
Yep.
oh, that's an alternative. That's something that, isn't recommended by the FDA. And it's not recommended, it's not recommended because it can't be regulated through a patent. Um, you know, that's a big part of this. And
You're exactly right.
you know
Um,
but I'm very grateful to be able to access the highest quality tonics on the planet through the connections that I've made and learning this stuff from master herbalists and my studies. I have been very fortunate to be able to tap into some of this forgotten magic in our part of the world sometimes, and being able to share it with you and share it with your audience and share it with my community here in Sedona has been a huge blessing. And we have people all over the world that are enjoying our Shilajit, enjoying our Shizandra berry. We have new honey sticks that we infused. We infused wild jungle honey into the Shilajit into the wild jungle honey from Nepal. So really excited about some of the new products that we have. And it's a sustainable process from start to finish, because the work that we do supports the cultures that are stewards of the land where these herbs are harvested from. So with the Shilajit and the honey, our friends in Nepal, the Sherpas, they go on these ascents up the mountains to actually go and collect and purify the Shilajit. They also go and harvest the honey from the jungles around Nepal that's east of where we get the Shilajit from in the Western Himalayas. And that's really important for us. So, being able to help them out, help to expand their prosperity and bring this phenomenal way to boost our health and our wellness to the States and all over the world with our reach with Lajit. It's been a huge blessing, and we really do feel fortunate to be here and to be able to carry the message of these lost tonics, these forgotten herbs in some cases. That's all it is just sharing the story, sharing the experience, and helping people find the right sources and the high quality stuff.
I felt blessed to be able to find it in Sedona, and we do have an international community here. I mean, we have people coming and going all the time from all over the world. So as they're exposed to this, I'm sure there are many people that would be more than happy to try it. And I would encourage it. I've tried it, and I feel energized. I really do. And I think it added mental clarity as well. Now, I've tried a lot of different products, and some you notice right away, and some you don't. And this was one that I did notice rather quickly, and that's
Absolutely.
always a positive sign.
I'm reading the chat on YouTube right now.
Oh, okay.
Just wanted
Let me
to
put it up.
I just wanted to address a couple people on here. First of all, what up, Ben from Australia? It's good to see you on here, man. I'm glad you're catching this live. And Carolyn S, you talked about
Here, let me put it up.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll put the questions up and I'll read it over so everybody knows what you're answering, and then we'll move on. Is this the question you meant?
Cool. She was looking for resources and saying that it's hard to find things that aren't BS. So I can't see the question on my screen.
Oh, you can't. It just says, what are the best resources for herbalism? That's all it says.
So that's a great question. And first of all, I would highly recommend anybody that's watching this that's interested in actual info from like a medical professional that's telling the truth and out there really being helpful for us in our cause right now. Look up Zach Bush. He just did a podcast with Aubrey Marcus recently.
Good.
It was really good. But I love Zach Bush. You can follow him on all the different platforms. He's out there speaking the truth and dropping really great knowledge about the levels of consciousness and how that actually affects disease in the body and the different ailments that we face. Has to do a lot with our mind state, a lot with the different levels of consciousness. And when you listen to him speak from a medical standpoint, it really does hit in a different way, and it really is impactful. Also, the person who I learned Chinese herbalism from, traditional Chinese medicine, was Ron Teagarden, who's the master herbalist. He's the founder of a company called Dragon Herbs. But Ron Teagarden has a lot of great stuff out there about Chinese medicine, about the authentic source of Chinese herbs, and some of the major adaptogens that come from traditional Chinese medicine. So he's somebody I'd recommend as well. Zach Bush, MD. Maybe we can put that.
Yes, you know what? I should have a show with him. He's very popular, and he's on top of everything. And one of the things that people have to realize, everything's related to frequencies, and our body has a certain frequency too. And when it, so do individual organs for that matter. And when those frequencies are off, it causes problems. But anyway, we have a Gail and Ben Steezy from East Coast, Australia. Hello. Yeah, we have people from all over the world here.
What up, East Coast Australia? What's going on, Ben?
Okay, well, Carolyn, I think what she could do is you have some excellent information on your website. And if you do go to blackgold.gailofgaia.com, you'll find all the information on there concerning, the Shisandra and the Lajit, and there's lab results, which I really appreciate. So they check the quality. It's an independent third-party testing laboratory. They use good manufacturing practices. These are all the things that as a nutritionist, I used to tell people, if you want to try something and you're going to do it, look for those things. Third-party tested, the good manufacturing practices and things of that nature, because it does make a difference, because not everybody cares about the quality as much as they care about the money they're going to make.
Absolutely. And we really strive for transparency with all of the products that we carry so that we can show you the lab results of, any types of toxins, heavy metals, or pathogens that may be present in food. We want to make sure they're not in anything that we are selling to our customers. So we just put that at the top of the list as far as our priorities go. I need to do something about that.
You keep bumping your camera.
That's a huge priority for us, is to
That's okay.
safety.
It works anybody out, but they're getting tired.
Right. And
Anyway.
the quality, we really just have a strict, a very strict foundation of quality control that we abide by. And that comes through the third-party lab test and, just taking the time to source the highest quality products. One thing I think is important to point out is that the Sherpas that go and harvest the Shilajit for us and purify it following the Vedic text, they consume the Shilajit themselves, and they were mostly just sharing it with their friends and family in Nepal before we started working with them. Now they're very excited to be exporting it to us and, seeing the potential for it in the US market. But it's been very helpful for them. And, for years before I ever started Lajit and launched this as a company, I was just taking the Shilajit myself, sharing it with my family, sharing it with my friends. So everybody that has had their hands on this product and everywhere that it travels to, there's a lot of intention for what it can do for our health, for our wellness, our well-being, our vitality. And we all take it ourselves, believe in it ourselves, and put our prayers and intention into it before it gets into your hands. So, our customers love what they receive, and they've given us nothing but tremendous feedback. And I think that that's a big reason as to why, is because this is something that, we didn't invent Shilajit. The earth made Shilajit. We get to be a carrier of the message. We get to be
Lady
a carrier.
Gaia.
Yeah, exactly. We're just given the love that Gaia has given us. And that comes in the form of Schizandra berry and heirloom cacao and Shilajit and all these other amazing adaptogens and amazing superfoods. So, we're happy to share it with you guys. And I'm glad that you're here, on the journey with us, able to experience the benefits yourself and get the downloads of great information and doing your own research and going on your own journey, because this is your journey and you have to own your journey in order to be the soul in control and not just, kind of get blown with the wind with everything that's out there and all the people that have different interests in mind and different agendas. So
Yes, and I always have to caution people about expecting to get quality supplements at your local Walmart. I can't. There are a lot of other products there that are just fine, but when it comes to your healthcare products, I can't. The herbal products, you'd be much better off to go online or to a health food store. So, Carolyn also said highest vibrational collection is paramount, and that is so true, and that's what's happening, and that's what's so. It's we are all connected around the world. Humanity is all connected. We're all part of one, and which is why it's so important how we treat each other. So, let's see. Oh, are you familiar? Maybe you are. Ree Teagarden is widely recognized as the founding father of tonic herbalism in the United States.
yeah,
Are you familiar with his name?
yeah, I just
you
put that in the chat because somebody
Oh, that was
asked,
you. Okay.
yeah, how to spell the name.
Okay. Well, tell me more about him, because I'm not as familiar with him. I'm very familiar with herbs. I've taken classes. I've had quite a bit of background, but I haven't.
Well, he's
formed a company or
considered the
anything.
founding father of tonic herbalism in the United States because
Mhm.
he has been writing about herbs and practicing as a master herbalist in his home state of California for over 40 years now. He's written several books that are world renowned on tonic herbalism and Chinese medicine. And he's been the owner and operator of the company Dragon Herbs for a very long time. That's where I went and worked with him, studied under him, and drank 1,000-year-old ginseng with him and learned about adaptogens and tonic firsthand from a master herbalist. So I was very fortunate to be able to work on several projects with him. I had an idea to make chocolate from the heirloom cacao that I work with in Ecuador. And since this cacao is actually grown under a natural rainforest canopy, there's a lot of potential for it to protect that portion of the rainforest and give back to the people there that are stewards of the land. And we find a lot of benefit from cacao and consuming it. So, working with the chocolate and infusing herbs into it is kind of how I started my relationship with Ron. And he took me under his wing and really just taught me everything that he could about, the different adaptogens, the different herbs, the different applications of Chinese medicine, why he does what he does, how he does it. And it's where I was able to mine a lot of knowledge that I utilize in order to serve my customers at Lajit the best way possible, because, I really saw him doing things right. And it was inspiring for me to work with somebody of that caliber and for them to see my potential and it really, give me that energy back and give me that kind of really amazing platform for me to launch what my mission is on.
So you know him personally?
Yeah,
you've
I've
worked
worked
with
with
him.
his daughter is actually named Shazandra. He had such a profound
Oh my
experience.
gosh, really?
This is probably a story I should tell, since I have the Lajit Shazandra with me today.
Yes,
And,
yes. Tell us. Tell us.
this is my favorite berry in existence for sure. It's one of my favorite adaptogens, one of my favorite tonics. And Ron Teagarden, he actually, when he first got into herbalism, see that beautiful red color?
Yeah, it is.
It's a really
Lovely.
pretty color. It's known
Yeah,
as
it
the
is.
5-flavor berry. It has all 5 flavors, activates all the different regions of the taste buds. And when Ron Teagarden first started learning about herbs and was becoming an herbalist, he was challenged by his master to take Shazandra for 100 days in a row. So you take a gram of Shazandra every day for 100 days. And during that time period, he had had such a profound experience with it that he decided that this was his life's mission and he was going to become a master herbalist. And he named his firstborn daughter Shazandra because
Oh
of how
my
powerful the
gosh.
experience was. And he's been
Wow.
at it for almost 50 years now. I mean, talk about somebody who is really, passionate about their work and has fully committed their life to their work. He has been on the forefront of Chinese medicine and tonic herbalism here in the United States for the last 40 plus years, almost 50 years. So
Wow. Wow. You might have to introduce me.
yeah, we would definitely have a fun time getting to know Ron a little bit. He's dropped a lot of great knowledge on me, and he definitely has some great stories to tell. So
That would be awesome. Maybe we could do a little round type table or something. Anyway, I have a question. Someone asked, can you recommend an online herbalist class or classes?
yes, this is actually a friend of mine here in Sedona, and they focus more on like wild foraging your own herbs and making your own types of tinctures and really getting to know the herbs that you can go and collect in your own backyard. And since they're based in the Southwest, a lot of that is kind of based in the Southwest, but it's applicable to people in all regions of the planet because, really exploring the plant and animal life around us and our surroundings gives us a really good idea of what we need to adapt in our environment. And a lot of times the plants take on qualities that help us adapt to the environment that they're in. So that's why, eating local and like doing a lot of local food is great.
And local herbs and local pollen, bee pollen, for example, is always more beneficial for people with allergies if it's our local honey. That tends to make a difference. So, and I agree with you. And the other thing that people can do is the farmers markets for food, in the local area. Know your farmer and know that they don't add pesticides and herbicides, that kind of thing. So,
Right.
let's see. Well, I see that Christine is in the chat. I wonder if you have any questions. Did you have any questions? Oh, did you see this? This is why Soul is looking for classes. She's in the Northwest high desert and has 44 acres with lots of good stuff to be able to grow things. And that's what people need to do more of.
Yeah, I love that.
And,
You know, growing
yeah,
our
I do
own
too.
food, you know,
Kind
composting, even letting things die and return to the earth, people. That is so important. We need to regenerate our soil. And I see Shilajit as a great way to educate people about soil integrity, because a lot of what's in Shilajit is missing from our soil, the fulvic and humic components of the soil that should be there. And that's because we don't let things decompose. We don't let things die and return to the earth. And the earth loves it when we let the things that we no longer need, that no longer serve us in the physical realm, we let them return to her so that she can turn it back into life. And that's what you're doing when you compost. That's what you're doing when you improve the soil integrity around yourself. So, yeah, kudos to you out there growing your own food and foraging your own herbs and your own food. I think that that's an important thing to do. I posted the Wild Medicine School. That's the name of the online. They say it's like the Netflix for plants. So you'll be able to watch videos on all types of different plants from all different regions. And it looks like they have people that are all over the place. So it shouldn't really be too region dependent.
Oh, wow. Okay, what was the name of that again? One more time?
It's called Wild Medicine School.
Wild
And
Medicine School.
I posted the link to the website. It's like a .usscreen.io link. So I posted that so people would be able to see it in the chat on YouTube.
Oh, good. Okay. The other question is the Shisandra on sale now?
Yeah, actually, we do have a discount code for the Shizandra products, and you can even get Shizandra Shilajit bundles with the same discount. It's S Drive. So the letter S, like Shizandra or sex or Shilajit. It's
Whatever you remember.
S Drive. Yeah. Well, you know, it was a play on words because these adaptogens all increase fertility, virality, and they make you
Libido, right?
they boost libido and your sex drive. So S Drive is, I don't think it, yeah, you got it. The dot connector just posted the discount code. So that'll only work on the Shizandra products, but I added in a bundle and save option for the Shilajit drops and the Shilajit resin. So if you want to try both, then you can use that discount code. And if you use Gail's link, which I recommend, do you have that posted somewhere? Is it in? Yeah, in the
Yeah, I
description.
had it up here. Let me put it back up. This is the one
Yeah,
I had a shortened
that
version.
coupon code will work for her link as well, and she'll get some credit for it, and that helps all of us out. And
Everybody gets everybody benefits.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
And red is the root chakra. That's absolutely true. You know, when you look at the different systems, the energetic systems of the body, and how our energy processes, you know, a lot of it is like color and vibration and spectrums. And when you can consume substances that are on that spectrum in that frequency, they're going to help to balance and make that, you know, chakra center, that energy center, more functional, more vital, work better. So that deep, pretty red for that Shizandra is definitely going to have some root chakra benefits for sure.
Yes, and you can tell just by looking at the product that it was processed in such a way and preserved in such a way that it has retained all that bright red color. And things that aren't manufactured in the correct way frequently lose a great deal of quality in terms of what it can actually do to you. And that is a big problem for people sometimes when they buy cheap, inexpensive herbs. And it's not that I have anything against things being economically affordable and so on, but a lot of times the very inexpensive ones are very poor quality as well. And in an attempt to raise your vibration, you're going to do it when you eat more pure, whole, healthy foods as well. So, and this is a pure, whole, healthy red product. And well, you're going to have to come out with a green one now.
Oh, we actually are working with a farm in Japan that is making they win awards every year. They're in near Kyoto, Japan, and they do ceremonial grade matcha. So we're gonna have some really, really high quality matcha, like better than any matcha that you've seen at any health food store, pretty soon here.
Oh.
And that's a great heart chakra one. That's a great heart opener. So we'll
Ah, okay. Oh, that's what
matcha.
we need. Yeah, yeah.
I see a question on here that says, "How is the Shizandra processed?" So
Yes.
I'd be happy to talk about that. We work with a Shizandra that's actually grown here in the United States on a certified organic farm. As I was mentioning, soil integrity is something that's really important to us and really important to me personally. So all the products that I bring to the market and all of the places that I work with, I want it to be under the highest vibration standards that you can offer the people. I've had a lot of Shizandra from China, and that is technically where it's from originally, but the problem with it is by the time that it gets here, the extract powders, the berries, the different forms of Shizandra that I've had, they become denatured, and they have to go through a lot of processing just to make it to the US. And for that specific product, I feel like it's very challenging to maintain the integrity and the quality. So the friends that I work with, they actually have a farm in Kentucky, and they've dedicated that certified organic farm to growing a whole bunch of biodiverse agriculture, but specifically a lot of tonic herbs like Shizandra. And the Shizandra is grown under the highest quality conditions. It's then harvested in the peak of the season when it's the ripest and the most nutrient dense. And they do a powdering and freeze dried process that actually protects all of the nutritional compounds. So it's freeze dried powdered extract. And that's how we maintain that beautiful red color that you were seeing. Pull that out again.
Yeah, it is a beautiful color.
It's a really
I
pretty
was
color.
impressed when I first saw it
And
because
my
it's a
favorite
really,
thing to be doing in the morning,
it's a
this is
bright
way,
red. Yeah,
way
look
too
at
much
that.
to take as a dose. That's probably like 4 or 5 doses. You only need a gram of it. So, just like,
Quarter teaspoon, isn't it?
yeah, like a quarter teaspoon, like that much right there. And I put that into a glass of water and mix it up with lemon, a little bit of the wild jungle honey, and just some good water, and I make a Shizandra lemonade, and it is one of the most amazing tasting, feeling, hydrating beverages that I could ever imagine. It makes me feel amazing in the morning when I take it, and it's because the different compounds that are in the Shizandra, they work on an extended level throughout the body. So I feel it in my mental clarity. I feel it with the hydration levels. Now, when I consume water, I drink the water that I normally drink in the morning. I feel like I retain it better. I'm not rushing to go to the bathroom. I'm not sweating it out instantly. It's actually being assimilated in my body and used effectively. And those are all benefits of the Shizandra. So I've been really grateful for that. Personally, before I started taking a lot of these adaptogens and Shizandra specifically, I had an issue with sweating, and I thought that it was always because I lived in the desert and it was hot out, and like I'd always have the armpit stains, and I just kind of dealt with it until I realized that my diet and the way that my body was assimilating water was a big reason for that. It wasn't necessarily just because it was hot outside.
That's one of the, I'll have to tell you about, I don't know if you're familiar with Wata, but I might have to tell you about that sometime because it's fifth phase water and it has one of the highest absorption rates. And anyway, that's a whole nother topic. And I've done a show on that in the past. But anyway, the other thing is someone was asking, do you know what the pH of the product is?
The pH of the product specifically, I mean,
Yeah, that's what,
they're alkalizing foods.
thank you.
I wouldn't know. I don't know the pH of the
Exact
actual
pH.
product,
Okay,
but
well,
you
that's
know,
I think that's what you're getting at, and one of the thing that's what she was getting at,
yeah.
and one of the things that is factual, and one of the reasons why they recommend alkaline eating is because it's just help. it's healthier because acidic conditions is where pathogens, fungus, molds, all that stuff grows. And then you add a little frequency to it, in like EMF type frequency, and
Yeah,
it grows exponentially, and it grows in our body too. So maintaining an alkaline or consuming foods that will help alkalinize you are very important. And
absolutely. I think that following an alkaline diet has been really helpful for me, especially with fighting inflammation from surgeries. I had a lot of surgeries growing up, so the residual effects of that cause chronic inflammation in the body. And the adaptogens that I take are very alkalizing. The diet that I eat, mostly local, a lot of plants, very high quality, all organic. It's helped me tremendously to keep my body in a very balanced state, not inflamed, not riddled with pain and disease, but in a pretty happy, conscious, high vibe state. And I blame it on the adaptogens. To be, if I'm
isn't
going to
that
keep,
something that started your journey, was the fact that you had health issues that you needed to um,
see
rectify or
that's yeah, I see that that's a common theme for a lot of us,
yes, it
and
is.
I say this often to people who, come for me for any level of mentorship. I tell them, that the biggest blessings that I've had in my journey are the things that were the most painful to experience at the time that I went through them. And it's, challenging to see it in the moment, but a lot of times the pain and the discomfort and the real brutal trauma that we have to go through individually, it puts us on a path that really helps us to understand our mission as a human, what we're here to do as a soul, what we're here to experience, and the level of impact that we want to have on people. And that those experiences, sending me on my own health and wellness journey, as a way just to get out of pain, as a way to just get out of discomfort, as a way to just get
Right.
out of the trap, the prison that my body had became.
Wow.
That journey is what made me realize, like, what, I'm not alone.
No,
There's
you're not
millions
alone
of
at all.
people.
I have a good friend who's a DNA uh, scientist expert, I would call her, and it all started because she had some genetic issues that nobody could figure out, and she had to figure it out herself, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
So, and she's an expert in that area now and created a software app and so on, um, for what's going on to this day for anyone who's genetically vulnerable. But that's a whole nother story. It's always kind of interesting people's story when they do something like what you've done, because it started because you had something that you had to overcome, and you did, and you have, and now you're sharing it with others. And that's a beautiful thing.
yeah, absolutely, because we all desire purpose. And when you're living a purposeful life, it's easy to wake up and to go out and to do the things that are going to get you closer to what you desire, closer to what you imagine the world being in, your ideal reality. You can wake up motivated to do the work every day. And these different herbs and adaptogens have helped me to really ground that in and anchor that into my own life. And it's become a part of my company culture. It's become a part of the people who I decide to surround myself with, and the way that I'm raising my children, and conducting myself as a leader in my family. It's
Very
important.
important.
It's very
Yeah.
important.
They've done everything to try to destroy the family in the West. So I'm happy to hear what you're saying. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
There, yeah. There was another question about the packaging. Could you explain how you arrived at the style of packaging that you used, or the form,
Yeah,
and why?
absolutely. So protecting the quality of the herbs is really important to us. For that purpose, all of the powdered extracts, like the Shazandra or the cacao powder, we put into a coffee style bag that has a one-way valve on the back. The one-way valve on the back lets all of the air out of the bag and does not let air into the bag. So it keeps your herbs incredibly fresh even after you open them. We have the resealable Ziploc bag, so you can easily reseal it. For the Shilajit, we use like a Myron amber glass so that it's protected from any type of sunlight or light that would be that would be exposed to during transit to you. So we really put a lot of thought and effort into our packaging. We'd like to use even more sustainably, a process packaging. I'm doing a lot of works with like mushrooms and things that we can use to create traditionally petroleum-based products using like fungus and hemp and
I
things
was just
like
going to
that.
say, if we could get hemp growing in this
Yeah,
country again and
we're
making
working
all
on
the
it.
things that it's
It's
capable of making, and it's all good. I mean, it does so many things. It's incredible.
it is. I want to build a hempcrete house. That's one of
Oh
my
yes,
because
yes,
it really is. It's all natural, antimicrobial, antiviral. Like
yes.
it protects you. It actually eats the toxins in your home and then breathes out fresh oxygen. It's like,
And it's
next
stronger
level
than
stuff.
cement.
It is stronger than cement, and way more sustainable. Very easy to grow. So I'm excited about that type of stuff. Unfortunately, as a small business owner, as somebody who is up against, everybody out there that is selling a product or, has something listed for sale on Amazon, um, I have to decide what battles I want to fight first and really prioritize those things. Part of the journey and part of the bigger plan is to work with like truly sustainable packaging where we're, helping to. I've seen styrofoam that's made out of mushrooms. I've seen plastic products that are made out of hemp oil. So I know it's possible. Those solutions are way too expensive and out of reach right now for somebody in my shoes. So that's part of the journey. Part of the plan is to really, help to spread light on those different things that we're passionate about and to utilize them in our own packaging whenever we can. But all of our glass jars are recyclable. At least that's something that we're happy about. That's our flagship product, is the Shilajit resin and the liquid drops, which come in reusable, recyclable glass containers. So.
The
And
question was asked, Ben, do you know if Shasandra can be grown at 1,700 feet?
Shazandra can't. No, and somebody who's asking that, or was it 1,700 or 17,000 feet?
It must be.
1,700 probably can be.
Yeah.
I thought somebody was asking that because they saw the altitude that we harvest the Shilajit from.
Mm-hmm.
True gold grade Shilajit comes from about 17 to 18,000 feet, between 16 and 17,000 feet. And the types of herbs that are growing up there that become the Shilajit are very medicinal adaptogens like rhodiola, like cordyceps, like the different jatamansi and different herbs that are native to that region of the Himalayas.
Wow. Okay. So if it's just 1,700 feet, it's probably would be growable, correct?
Shazandra should be, yeah. I'd have to look more into that. I don't know what the elevation is on the farm in Kentucky, but they grow it really well there. So
Would products need to be kept from freezing or low temperatures? Will it harm the vitality of the product in any way? Do you have to keep it in any special
no, not
way?
usually. With the Shazandra berry, you want to keep it in a cool, dry place, just like most supplements. You don't really want to expose it to extreme heat or extreme cold. Same with the the same recommendations are made for the Shilajit because better safe than sorry. But you have to remember that Shilajit by nature is very resilient and has gone through the harshest weather conditions on the planet. Being at 17 to 18,000 feet on the Himalayas, you're getting all of that solar heat and all of the freezing cold, freezing wind chill. And those are the types of plants that are able to survive and thrive up in that region that eventually become the Shilajit. So, if you look at the laws of similarities, we can tell why this is such a powerful, potent substance for increasing our vitality, strengthening the body, helping us to endure stress and process stress and move through it courageously. It's because of the environment that it's grown in. I mean, it's a diamond in the rough for sure.
Wow. Okay, let's see. What do we got? Hope that somebody wants to try it.
Yeah,
Westwood
the
presents.
Shizandra is really amazing complement to the Shilajit, because the Shilajit is kidney yang in Chinese medicine. So the kidneys is where we store our chi, and it's where a lot of our vital energy comes from. So you have the Shilajit that's very kidney yang. It's heating. It has a lot of upright energy. And then you have the Shizandra that is kidney yin. So it's the more feminine, very soft, and very nourishing for the kidneys, very nourishing for the chi. And together, they are just a powerhouse for mental clarity, for detoxing the body in a very, very healthy and sustainable way, for giving you all the base nutrients you need to conduct yourself and to really be a living testament of vitality, of health, of wellness. And I feel in my personal life, taking them together, I run very hot usually. And I mentioned earlier, I used to have a problem with sweating before introducing Shizandra into my diet. Shilajit can be a very heating herb. So if you are like me and have like kind of a pitta, inclined uh, way of being, then you're going to love the cooling and adaptogenic effects of the Shizandra berry, because it really does bring down that heat to where it's just that steady simmer that is a sign of vitality instead of a flame that's disruptive and causing inflammation. I hope that makes sense. I was kind of mixing some Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine terms, but
Together.
yeah, that's I
That's
mean
okay though.
that's where
we
that's what I'm about. That's where I'm
Yeah.
from. So
Well, Western medicine has a lot to learn from Chinese medicine and East Indian medicine, as well as we destroyed a lot of our Native American medicine,
yeah,
unfortunately,
unfortunately,
which would be the stuff that they knew from the land that
yeah,
works for various things. There's some knowledge that's still left, but it's certainly um, well, they the Holocaust of the Native Americans is rarely talked about. But
yeah.
anyway, uh, okay. Well, I don't think we have. Well, do we have any more questions?
Yeah, it looks like do the products work as detox, and what organs do they help the most? So for the Shizandra berry, the liver and the kidneys are going to get the most benefit, but they work systemically throughout the body and really do benefit all of the different organ systems. So um, if you're looking for something that is really good for your liver, really good for your kidneys, your adrenals, then the Shizandra berry is A++ tonic. Also, the Shizandra and the Shilajit both help to decalcify the pineal gland. So,
Now
if you're
that's big.
yeah, it's a huge one, because that's what the fluoride in our water does. That's what the GMOs do, and the different environmental toxins and man-made toxins that we're exposed to on a day-to-day basis. It is helping to put calcium deposits, and the neurotoxin effects of things like fluoride are all attacking these
Yeah.
centers in our bodies, these glands in our bodies that produce hormones that are essential for life and essential for vitality and essential for us to actually vision our higher purpose and our higher self. So the Shilajit I love for its chelation benefits, bringing the heavy metals and detoxing the body. Both the Shizandra and the Shilajit are known to help to stimulate third eye and crown chakra activity and really expand.
Very important now too. Let me mention that that's one of the things that everybody needs to be aware of now. We need to let go to our heart and our intuition to know the truth, because we're getting hit with so many different so much different information. One source says this, another says just the opposite, and you're going that, so people don't know what to. But when you go and when you use your third eye and when you use your heart, you know.
Mhm.
But we've we've live in such a busy world with a busy mind that we go here first instead of going here first. Because when we go to the heart first, it's a knowing. Okay, but when we go here, we're analyzing. We're trying to fit into the narrative and all those kinds of things more so. So
Correct.
anything that will help you to detoxify that pineal gland is extremely important right now. So third
Yeah.
eye clarity, yes, is absolutely huge.
And
Absolutely huge.
as we age, our body tends to decline in the way that it produces healthy
Yes.
hormones. So,
Yes.
the pineal gland is a gland that produces hormones. We also, a lot of hormones that are regulating sleep, regulating pleasure, and different things in the body that are necessary for us to, again, expand our consciousness and live in these higher realms of vibration and existence. So the Shilajit and the Shizandra, for me, they're really an amazing tool to have as I age, and as the people who are familiar with these products and get to receive them in this high quality form, they're really grateful for being able to take something that helps them to age more gracefully, and it can help to reinvigorate those healthy hormones in the body and help you to feel more balanced and more clear mentally, physically. It's all about honoring the body, disciplining the mind, and nurturing the emotions. If you can do those three things on a day-to-day basis to the best of your ability, then you're going to find that you're in a much better position to serve your family, serve your community, live a happy, purposeful, and structured life that you can be proud of and be happy about. And these are, like I said before, just tools, and the tools that have been used successfully for thousands of years now, that we're very fortunate to be able to directly access easier than we ever have in the history of mankind. Even though so many people haven't heard of these adaptogens, so many people don't utilize them on a day-to-day basis, they are easier to find, they are easier to source, and they are easier to grow than we have ever experienced in all of mankind. So, um, this is something that I feel is great for people of pretty much all walks of life and all ages. But as we are looking to alleviate stress and age gracefully, then you really want to have them on your side. You really want to have this type of tool in your toolkit.
Well, hormones are also known to regulate metabolism because we have the thyroid hormone,
Mhm.
which are, directly related to that. And if these products, again, help with the hormonal balance, our balance is off. Um, and it's because of the everything we're exposed to. So that's another aspect. And I was wondering, has anyone, has there been any reports back as far as menopause for women? Is that is it of any benefit for that? I mean, I imagine it is, but do you have any?
Absolutely. The main benefit is, first of all, Shilajit helps with mood. It helps to put you into a
It's
better state of,
uplifting.
yeah, it's very uplifting. So it helps to make you
Yes.
feel a little bit more lighthearted and just a little bit more present, and a little bit more present with the joyful emotions that you're experiencing. It also tends to give you energy, and not
Yes.
energy like you'd expect from like a
Not
caffeinated drink.
jittery. Not
Not,
jittery
no,
energy.
it's very sustainable energy, that for most people feels just a lot like incredible mental clarity, incredible mental energy at first. After you
Mhm.
start taking it for a prolonged period of time, of a few weeks, 3 to 6 weeks, you're going to notice that your physical strength, your endurance, your stamina have all increased. Now, these are things that usually decline during menopause. These are all things that usually decline when men reach a certain age and their testosterone starts to,
Andropause.
yeah, andropause, exactly. And a lot of these herbs have been used for both men and women to increase androgenic hormones in a healthy way, because women, when they hit that point in menopause, estrogen and testosterone are both declining in an unhealthy way. So it's like you want to balance them, and we have all these unhealthy forms of estrogen in our environment and in the foods that we eat.
Yes.
So being able to process that and the hormone disruptors, the endocrine disruptors. That's another thing that I really love about the Shilajit and the Schisandra, is that they can help to balance our endocrine system and kind of offset whatever endocrine disruptors are coming into the body. They become a great offset for these things that are
Oh,
attacking
that's
us both
wonderful.
externally and internally, really.
That's wonderful. That's big. I know that because I've looked into that area. So that's very important. Awesome. So I imagine that does it help digestion in any way, or the absorption of other, supplements, or things that are good
So
for you? You think that it would?
that's a great question. And, with Shilajit specifically, it's known for its increases of absorption for other plants, other herbs, other botanicals. That's why it's my go-to, my number one. Like, I always have Shilajit in my toolkit. When you take it with other herbs like Schisandra or ginseng or cordyceps or any of these other adaptogens, you're going to
Mm.
reap the benefits of those other adaptogens. In some cases, up to 10 times the amount of absorption that you would normally get, specifically with things like ashwagandha. In Ayurvedic medicine, Shilajit has been taken with ashwagandha for so long, and it's been studied a lot. Because we can see that you're increasing the bioavailability of that root of the ashwagandha when you pair it with the Shilajit. Now, we've also seen studies of cannabis users. The very recent study actually took a focus group of 60 daily cannabis users, people who smoked or ate edibles or dabbed or whatever, and they each took 250 milligrams of Shilajit first thing in the morning before they consumed any cannabis. Well, by the end of the 90-day study, the 60 people in the focus group on average had decreased their cannabis consumption by up to 50%. So, about 50% on average decrease in the
That would save them a lot
consumption.
of money, wouldn't it?
Yeah, totally. I tell people, when people say that the Shilajit's an expensive product, I say, well, it's rarer than gold, it's rarer than diamonds, and you're going to see that it actually affects your health in such a way and helps you to achieve the benefits that you're looking for from your other supplements and other botanicals in such a way that it actually saves your money and you can't afford not to have it. I say that in a passionate way because I really believe it. Like, if I didn't have Shilajit, I would be paying an arm and a leg for other things, probably. My health is very important to me. Like I said, I value my health and my vitality, and this is one of those rare substances that can really give you a strong foundation for everything that you need, that you can then build upon. And the other products that we're introducing, we're going for the highest possible quality, just like we have with our Shilajit. We want to make sure that you're getting the best of the best in every possible case. And the products that we're adding, a lot of them, it's, simply because they go really well with Shilajit. They work really well. There are other adaptogens, other superfoods that are enhanced so much by Shilajit that we have to share them with the world because we just love the way
I'm
they
glad
work.
you are. Well, maybe we should address the humic and fulvic a little bit, just so, because they're both in Shilajit. I don't think they're not in Shisandra, but it is the
Yeah.
explains more the benefit of how the two can work synergistically.
So this will actually help to answer another question that just popped up, asking about the cannabis study with the 50% decrease. The fulvic acid and the humic acid are the two components of Shilajit that are the most profound. They're the highest concentration of those substances are what you find in Shilajit. Now, fulvic acid specifically is known to carry nutrients into the cells of the body. It bypasses digestion because it's a sub nanoparticle. It's smaller than any other particle that we have in our body or in the water or whatever we're consuming. So it's able to actually break through that barrier and get right directly into the cell, feed the mitochondria, and help us produce more ATP, which is the energy that our cells use for all of our physiological processes, right? So
Yes, and they're saying that we're having a lot of mitochondrial dysfunction, and if it helps correct that, that explains why people would be low energy.
Which is also from endocrine disruptors. Mitochondrial
Exactly,
function is
yes.
affected by hormones. The hormones are all part of the endocrine system. So if we're
Yeah.
not taking care of the endocrine disruptors, then you're going to have a bad time. The fulvic acid and the shilajit is helping to feed the mitochondria and helping it to actually get the nutrients it needs to function properly, while the humic acid is helping to detox whatever is getting in its way. Those endocrine disruptors often show up in the form of heavy metals. They often show up in the form of xenoestrogens. They often show up in the form as phytoestrogens, as different things that we find in our plastics and GMO food, in our tap water. I mean, you name it, there's tons of different disruptors out there.
We
But
are
the
inundated with things that are not good for our body.
inundated, and it almost seems like it's by design, Gail. I don't know,
Oh, it
but
is. I think it is.
what I'd like to offer though is a little bit of hope, a little bit of a silver lining, a little bit of clarity, because we are not this beautiful meat suit that we inhabit. We're a soul that's in control. We're made of light, and we're here to spread that light. These plants, these botanicals, they help us to achieve that. Fulvic acid and humic acid, shilajit specifically, which is the highest concentration of those two substances, I like to call it ancient sunlight. Ancient sunlight, because these are plants and botanicals that grew underneath the beauty of our sun, and then they decomposed underneath that same sun and became the humus that returned back to the earth and became the fulvic and humic component of our soil that has all the nutrition that we would ever need to thrive. Okay. So the fulvic acid's great. The humic acid is taking out the heavy metals, taking out the pathogens and the free radicals in the body, helping us to detox in a healthy way. And we're really just hitting our health from both angles. Now, as far as the cannabis study is concerned, there's phospholipids, there's different types of molecules and substances. There's over 50,000 unique biological compounds in fulvic acid alone. So in fulvic acid, you have these phospholipids that actually wrap around cannabinoids, and cannabinoids are fat soluble. A lot of us know that they're fat soluble. That's why your CBD oil should always be taken. It's great to have a carrier of like MCT or
Well, one of
another fat.
the, if I might throw in there, Ben, I use or suggest a hemp paste, which is a whole plant product that has not extracted the oil from the cannabis plant, which causes a lot of terpene loss, which
Right.
They have to replace, but they don't always replace them with cannabis terpenes, because other plants have terpenes. And I'd like to mention one of the things in this other question was, did the subjects just lose interest in the effect of the cannabis, or did it boost the effect of the cannabis? From what I'm hearing from you, it's more on the order of boosting. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. So the reason it boosts the effect so much is because these different phospholipids, they actually encapsulate the fat soluble cannabinoids and make them water soluble. So they become more absorbable to the body once the shilajit has been introduced. So the different people in the focus group, they would consume shilajit about 30 minutes prior to their first use of cannabis that day. The first time they medicate with cannabis that day, they would wait 30 minutes after they took the shilajit. And the reason they were able to decrease their use so much is because the effects of the cannabis and the desired result they were looking for, whether it was alleviating pain or enhancing mental creativity or helping with appetite, those are all enhanced by the shilajit, making the cannabinoids more absorbable. So really, really beneficial way to help maximize any botanical that you use, and get the most bang for your buck, really, because as you mentioned, you're going to save a lot of money if all of a sudden you cut a daily habit in half, and you're still getting the
Yes.
same effect. And that's been my experience with all types of different herbs and adaptogens that I take. When I pair it with shilajit, I really feel the difference of what I'm getting out of that plant.
Well, I have to tell you that I am very impressed with the products because I had a chance to try it. And because I had got some when I first saw it, I wanted to try it and see what it was all about. And I had run out of all other products that I used to take some of the different products that I am an affiliate with that I have. I think they're good products, but I did have a very noticeable effect when I took this, and
Yeah.
I want to share that because I'm not knocking any of the other products I carry; they're good, but I really noticed this, and especially for mental clarity. It really because I was having some fog or um, not that I still can't, but I just feel like there's been uh, s an improvement, I just the clarity, it's not as foggy, it's a little more clear.
Yeah, and
Anyway, no, I like it, and, I would encourage you to try it. Everybody's different, I'm just speaking from my own perspective, I've really liked it a lot. Let's mention before we go, people want me to talk about the cacao? Cacao?
the
How do you say it?
cacao.
Cacao? Yeah, I always
Yes, cacao. This is
cacao.
actually the product that got me into superfoods. Before I ever even met Ron Teagarden and started my journey learning about herbs and herbalism, I was working with a superfood company that had a direct link to Belize and Ecuador. So we would work with the tribes in Belize and Ecuador who basically are stewards of the land in the rainforest, and they protect the different cacao crops that grow in this very biodiverse climate in the rainforest, where some of the most incredible heirloom strains of cacao come from. All of the cacao we offer through Lajit is from Ecuador, from the Amazon rainforest in Ecuador. It grows under a natural rainforest canopy and would be considered biodynamic farming. It's why it's basically like a wild process, but if you're familiar with biodynamic farming, it incorporates all of the
I'm
different
not.
parts.
That's interesting, though. It sounds good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Rudolf Steiner, who was the founder of Waldorf schools and like a Montessori style of teaching, um, he was the one who is considered the grandfather. Every time I get a text, my phone just falls off of this little thing. But he's considered the grandfather of biodynamic farming, somebody who wrote about it and popularized it. And it treats the land as a living organism. So all of the animals that graze on the land, all of the plants that grow on the land, they do so in a very biodiverse and symbiotic way so that we don't run
Wow.
into any of the dangers of modern agriculture, which mostly has to do with monocropping
Yeah, it's
and trying to
terrible
get
for
the
the
most
soil.
out of the yield out of one harvest instead of protecting the integrity of the soil for future generations.
Mhm.
We've
And
created a culture and a culture around our farming practices that is very mirroring of this, of instant gratification. And, this we want it all, and we want it all now, and we want it all yesterday, kind of mindset that really puts us in a troubling position when we're looking at what 10, 20, 50, 100 years of damage can do to plots of lands, to sections of the rainforest, to places on this planet that used to be sacred and abundant and full of life and vitality. They now become barren and dry and weak and desolate of life.
Mhm.
And there's a lot that we do with the people who we work with in Ecuador, in Nepal, in Indonesia, in all of the different areas where we source herbs. We have boots on the ground that are fighting for our future and the future generations through protecting natural products, through protecting things, through biodynamic and organic agriculture,
That's beautiful.
biodiverse
I love it.
farming,
It's
protecting
our
soil integrity.
permaculture is what I was more familiar with, but that I like that biodynamic. That sounds awesome, and that's exactly what we need. And the GMOs that America has so much adopted in their farming practices, besides the monoculturing, those products kill the microbes in the soil, which affects the nutrients and so on. And they've never done any additional studies since they started all this GMOs in terms of the nutritional values of the foods. They're still based on prior to that introduction of the GMO foods. And not only that, I believe it's responsible for the gut issues that people have because of that very thing. It breaks down your microbiome.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. You know, I mean, soil health is gut health.
yep,
Soil, gut of the earth, you know, the gut of Gaia.
and gut brain.
Yeah, well, our brain and our gut are interconnected. They're one and the
Yes.
same. You know, our meat suit was made by intelligent design. There are no mistakes. And if we are nourishing the body in the right ways, then our digestion and our mental health, our mental clarity, they should all be working in unison together for us to be vital, healthy, vibrant, and ready to go serve a life that's purposeful, meaningful, and impactful. And, you know, if there's one thing that I can say these herbs have done for me, and cacao was amazing, you know, who doesn't love chocolate, first of all? Everybody loves chocolate, you know, talk about a great menopause medicine. My God, take the cacao and, you know, it's something that has been used traditionally in Aztec and Mayan culture as forms of currency, as way, you know, it's called the food of the gods. It has certain alcohol. Actually, since we were talking about cannabis, cacao, chocolate is the reason that we discovered our endocannabinoid system. Most people don't know this,
Oh, I didn't know
but
that either. That's
our our
interesting.
our endocannabinoid system, it creates endogenous cannabinoids. For those that aren't familiar with the term endogenous, it means that it's made inside of our body from our own cells. We create cannabinoids in our body. One of them is called anandamide. Anandamide was discovered back in either the early 90s, late 80s, maybe a little bit before, but it is the first endocannabinoid that was ever discovered, and it is structurally almost identical to THC. That's really interesting. So they call it the bliss molecule. It is something that we make inside of our bodies that creates euphoria, joy, feelings of bliss. And when we eat really high quality cacao or dark chocolate, it is high in an enzyme that helps the body to create more anandamide. So the enzyme in
Wow.
cacao, it's FAAH, I believe, it actually is responsible for creating anandamide, which is why when you eat really high quality dark chocolate, cacao nibs, cacao powder, you're going to feel uplifted. You're going to feel your mood be enhanced. You're going to feel very joyful and vibrant and alive. It's also why cacao is such a heart opener. You know, cannabis is considered to be very heart opening. THC is considered to be very heart opening, but the cacao is actually activating something within our body that gives us that same effect without having to consume cannabis or, you know, have the psychoactive, like getting high response if that's not your jam. So, you know, we're really grateful for cacao. We feel like it's a great gift from Mother Gaia and a great gift for us to share with you. That's why we offer it as part of the Lajit line. Right now, we just have it in the small 50-gram bag so people can try it. We really encourage you, if you love what you have, to buy it in bulk from us. And you can just hit us up on the website about that for any of the bulk herbs, bulk cacao. We have a contact form for you. But yeah, really grateful for that. And, you know, cacao is also the bridge that helped me to meet Master Herbalist Ron Teagarden and start my path and my journey, you know, with Chinese medicine and eventually Shilajit and Ayurvedic medicine. So
I
big
would
shout
love
out
to
to
check
cacao.
if maybe we could have a show or a talk with him sometime. That would be awesome. Um, the other thing that I don't want to take the time today to talk about it, but I also know that you're involved with the production of kratom, and we'll have to talk about that sometime. You're on top of some of the most unique herbs out there that a lot of people don't even know about them. But that's an excellent herb as well that has helped. I've had people come up to me and say, if it wasn't for that, I never would have gotten off of opioids.
Yeah, you know, big
And
reason that I do that is because of what it does for people. And, you know, I like to just walk into the middle of fires, controversial fires, especially. I had a really profound experience with kratom myself when I had my wisdom teeth removed. I've been off big pharma for over a decade. I haven't even taken a Tylenol for over 10 years now. And
Mhm.
I
I don't
absolutely
take
wouldn't
anything
take
either.
anything prescribed to me. It's a personal choice. I'm not making any recommendations for others out there, but that's my personal choice and where I come from. I like the natural route. And when I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth removed, I used kratom for 3 days, and in that 3 days, my mouth had fully recovered. It has like great antiviral and antibacterial properties, and I also has great pain relief and anti-inflammation properties. By the time I went back to see my dentist a week later, he said that he was blown away that I just had 4 extractions the week before. He'd never seen somebody recover as quickly as I did in 40 years of practice, 30, 40 years of practice.
Wow.
So I told him, well, I didn't take any of the drugs that you prescribed me. And we kind of laughed about it. And then we went our separate ways. I knew that the kratom was the thing that was responsible. It was the only thing that I took during those 3 days, other than the milkshakes and smoothies I was able to drink. So that really kind of gave me that insight of how powerful and potent that was. And then about 6 months later, I heard that they were trying to ban it, and that the FDA was like attacking it and had all of these campaigns in different cities and states to get it banned on a local level, and then eventually on a national level, and get it scheduled as a Schedule 1 drug with no medical use, and put it right next to cocaine and heroin and LSD and all those things. And I wasn't having that. I became an advocate at that point. I went out and I marched with people, and I went to the legislators in Arizona. Actually, our signatures and the rallying that we did in Arizona was a big part of the reason we were able to pass the Kratom Consumer Protection Act here. So I'm very proud of
Good
that.
for you. I That's fantastic, because it is. They've made it illegal in some states, and it's
After
just
after we formed Crizzerp, I had some investors with business interests that were vested in it now, and really that became a great motivator, because their best interest was to keep consumers, able to consume and able to purchase it legally and safely. So since we were already doing all the lab tests, since we were already doing all the third-party accredited lab checks, and good manufacturing practice facility where we packed everything, we decided that we wanted to really help drive home the legislation to protect companies and consumers that were consuming it in this way. So as long as I label on my products that this is not for consumption by minors, you must be 18 or older to purchase this, here are the lab tests, here's the active alkaloids, here's the recommended dosing, all things that we should be doing anyways as business owners that are in my space, and the people that offer natural products, we should be doing all this anyways. We passed a law basically that protects all of us in Arizona. We've now passed it in Nevada, in I believe Florida, several states, a handful. Some of them I'm blanking on right now, but we were able to pass this legislation that protects consumers and protects businesses that are following the right protocols and the right way of doing things. Even if something was to be banned on a national level, if the FDA was successful with their propaganda campaigns and their fight against it to kind of disseminate our ability to sell kratom legally, then we would still be protected on a state level, which constitutionally supersedes whatever the federal government imposes. So we're really, really grateful for that.
well,
I've learned that all politics are local, so I've become very vested in
yes, especially
global.
now.
Yeah, I've become very vested in the political atmosphere, and I try to keep things as moderate and mild as possible when I'm representing my brands, and when I'm speaking about the level of validity that my products can have in people's lives, and how they can impact. I don't care if you're conservative or liberal, Democrat or Republican. If you want to better your health, and if you want to be on a journey of wellness, then I'm here to support that. But at the same time, I'm a big fighter and a big advocate for freedom, and I'm a big fighter and a big advocate for the ability to actually make our own decisions when it comes to our bodies, when it comes to our health, when it comes to the way that we raise our families and the way that we conduct our business. This is something that I will draw the line and create very strong boundaries on until the day that I die. I'm not one of those people that is willing to trade my freedom for the sense of safety. I think that it's much more important to protect our freedom of speech, because that if they get that one, then all the other ones are gone.
Yeah, and they're working on that one real hard right
They're
now.
working on that one real hard. So
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of cancel culture. I'm not a big fan of censoring people. I don't agree with half the shit that I hear. And half the things that I see, but
Same here.
I'm able to accept the person that's behind those thoughts and those words, and still love them unconditionally as a human being that's here having an experience, just like them. So I really look forward to being able to be more outspoken on this forefront, because it's important right now. And I don't think it is getting any easier to be on platforms like the one that you've created, and be able to actually reach even just your audience that wants to be here. There's a lot of suppression that goes on, and people have to actively go and seek out this information. So for the people that are watching it, everybody that's streaming this, keep seeking the truth, keep seeking the light, keep seeking the things that are going to give you purpose and impact your soul on a soul level, so that you can be inspired and be a leader, and lead from a place that's heart-centered, lead from a place that's upper chakra developed, and high vibrational. And know that I'm here to support. Gail's here to support. There's a lot of people that are out here fighting the fight and doing what they can to protect our basic rights, our basic freedoms, and really our freedom of expression, our freedom of creativity, and our freedom for health and vitality. We're soldiers here.
That's absolutely awesome that you said that, Ben. I can't thank you enough. I agree with you 100%. And I want people to get in the fight with us. You need to get active locally. You need to get in here. We need you. We need everybody together. Very important. Very important. So, on that note, I think for today, we'll wrap the show up. I love having you on, Ben. I love your knowledge and the products that you're producing. It's always a pleasure to know that somebody's out there putting out things that they care about the quality and they care about the results that people will get. It's not just about the money. And unfortunately, it takes money to operate in this system the way it is right now. But hopefully, that's changing.
We're breaking the matrix, Gail.
We're breaking it.
Anybody that wants to trade, I'm very happy to conduct commerce in that way. We accept cryptocurrency, all those different things. Like we're just here to help to usher in this new paradigm where we can actually support and love each other, because I don't think that any of you need to be part of this slave system, the system that creates worker mentality of subservient culture, that it just goes to work to pay the taxes, to pay the bills, to have the house that you never get to enjoy being in. I drew that as a line in the sand for myself and created that boundary when my daughter was born. I told myself I was never going back to an office. I'm never going to go and sell my soul for 9 hours out of the day while I miss the most important parts of my child's development. And, that decision helped lead me here, to a more purposeful and fulfilling life, where I actually get to wake up, and a lot of days I work from home and get to see my daughter in between. And
That's awesome.
A lot of days I get to actually make a real difference in people's lives, and I get to hear real stories from real people who had real experiences with the products that I'm helping to procure and to deliver to you guys. So thank you, Gail. Thank you, everybody watching. Thank you for just letting me have this moment in your time to talk about what I do and to just answer questions and share this platform. I'm really grateful for it.
Thank you, Ben, for sharing your knowledge. And you have a good deal of knowledge there. And we are very much on the same page of what we're trying to do and promote. So I can't thank you enough. And we'll maybe have you back again. We'll see. But anyway, in the meantime, be sure and check out blackgold.gailofgaia.com and check out Ben's products. I think they're super high quality. And yes, there it is. That's the paste, more like a paste. And there's the Shisandra and the cacao. You have that one too?
Yeah,
Anyway.
I didn't have the cacao, but we got the honey.
Cacao. I always say it the wrong way. Anyway, don't mind me. Anyway, okay, great. That's fantastic. So go to the website and you will be impressed. And I think you should try this. You'll love it. I do. And I'm not just saying that. I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't have them on if I didn't like it.
Did you try one of the honey sticks yet, Gail?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I had one this morning. Yes. It's a
I
pretty
love just
good
eating
way.
these straight. You taste the Shilajit a little bit. It
Yeah,
tastes
you
like
do.
really medicinal, but it's like sweet and palatable.
It's sweet, so it makes it easier. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll call this a day. And it was wonderful having you on. Thank you so much.
Wonderful
Ben.
being here. Yeah, lots of love. Heart large.
Yes, coming from the heart. All right.